Welcome back to Cards and Comics. Today I'm going to be talking about my trip to larger than life toys, comics, and games on Route 31 in Clay, New York. And this was a trip I made because I was near Waterloo with the family. We were doing the summer clothes shopping for my girls. It was just a fun outing. We stayed overnight, just to get out of the house and do something fun. During Memorial Day weekend. Had some good food. Just had a lot of fun and got them some, summer clothes and just kind of shopped around a little bit. And I saw that there was a, toy store, comic book store near where we were staying. And it was on the way back home. So we went ahead and stopped off at this toys, comics, and game store. Picked up a lot of cool stuff. I'm going to show it to you here in a minute. So right now I'm going to just give you a little, tour of the store that me and the family went through. And then after that, I'll go through what I picked up. And I'll see you in a few minutes. All right, hopefully you enjoyed that little bit of video of the store and sort of my little bit of tour through it. But, it was fun just to walk around and kind of just experience it. Now, the first thing I'm going to show that I picked up was some toys. I'm not the biggest toy collector, but there's a few things and a few toys I really love. Now, one of them I really love is Robotech. And I've showed a few Robotech toys off. And I'm slowly building that collection up just because that was my favorite show as a kid. But I also like some characters. And one of them I like is Spider-Gwen. And I found this really cute. I'm trying to think what it is. A Squishmallow of Spider-Gwen. And her little hood becomes a cape. Like that, and there you go. I thought it's pretty cute, and it wasn't too expensive, but I thought that was a really fun little toy to pick up and put on the shelf. And the other toy I picked up was this Transformer, and this is RC, which is one of the I think coolest toys. Obviously, it's a female Transformer. Now, there's a Transformers band, and their lead singer dresses like RC. And you know, it's made me think that, like, yeah, of all the Transformers, she is like not only the coolest, but actually has some sex appeal for if you can say, for a toy. And then when you see the actual band perform with her dressed up as RC, you can see, like, yeah, whoever designed RC definitely knew what they were doing. Also, this comes with a comic book, which I thought that was cool. But anyway, I do collect RC toys because it's just, one of those Transformers that to me actually has a very cool design, and not, I think, wasn't one of the original ones either. So so that's the two toys I picked up. Now on to the comic books. Now I didn't get a dig, because, obviously, for anyone who's traveled with their family, they know, like, I would love to spend 5 hours there just digging through box after box, but I could tell after like 45 minutes they were getting bored to tears. So I had to speed it up, and I quickly flipped through a lot of boxes to see which boxes had better comics, and the Spider-Man books were just really picked through, and the ones that were remaining were in pretty bad condition. So I didn't see anything in the Spider-Man books I was really interested in, but the X-Men books were really, to me, loaded. I felt like there was lots of great X-Men books. So so we'll start here. I'm just kind of just going in order that I have them stacked here. This is X-Men 211. One of the coolest covers, I think, in terms of like this anniversary cover they did with the border. I've thought about just collecting the entire run of these books and maybe CGC graded, because when I was a kid, this was one of the first comic books I ever bought, because I went to a grocery store that was doing a giveaway of free comic books, and they were all Marvel books, and they all had this border because they were all from the same time period, and so I got like 20 or 30 free comic books, and a lot of them had this border. And of course, I lost all my comic books as a kid, and they're gone. But I remember they all had these borders, and it's just very nostalgic for me to go back. But I remember having this book and just thinking how cool that book was. I like the art. And so that's the first one. Next up is 245, which is one of the cool covers. And, again, it's a Liefeld cover, but, again, I think, he gets a bad rap. He does have some good covers, and I do like this cover, and I definitely like, and this is one, I think, where the fighting, this is kind of where they're making fun of like sci-fi movies, and like some DC books that just came out, and this is like almost like a parody issue, this 245. Next up is X-Men 200, and again, I think it's just, it's I don't think anything really major happens in this book, but it's just I like the cover, and it's number 200. And I think eventually these kind of like big number books just get a little bit of people who just think like, I want 100, whatever, 200. These were always double size. There was always something unique about them in terms of story, and so they have a little uniqueness. It's never been a big book. This is $10, but it's in good condition. And again, it's not a newsstand, which a majority, I didn't really look to see if a lot of them were. Yeah, this one actually is, but it's definitely a clean copy for $10. Now, the next two books, I really am very happy I was able to get two of these copies. So 207, so two copies, one for $10, one for $8. They're both in really good shape. They're both newsstand, but this is one of the I think coolest covers in this run, and it's starting to gain some traction in terms of cover collectors who just like cool covers. This is definitely one very cool Wolverine cover. And, under $10 for both copies. And again, same way for 222. One of the classic Wolverine Sabertooth covers. Again, very clean copy. Which was tough because a lot of these copies were pretty rough. So I had to go through and pull out some. And again, some of this, like right here, this isn't really on the book. This is like on the plastic sleeve. Some of these books I had to really go through and kick out because, there were maybe like 3 copies of 222 in there, and like 2 of them were just completely destroyed. And so I had to go through and put a lot back after I looked at the condition. Next up is a cool book, and it's one, again, another iconic cover in my opinion, number 251. The Wolverine on the cross cover. Again, non-newsstand, but still a very cool book. And again, I don't have this book, and I don't have this book. Sorry, I have 222. I don't have this book. So some of this was because it's just books I don't have. I actually have this graded, but I don't actually have 251 in my collection. So it was not only a good chance to pick up a cool book, but it's one that I don't have in my collection. Now, this book was the most expensive of all the X-Men books I picked up, but it was in really nice shape. And, 212. And again, this is one of those covers that, I think of all the covers that, I've kind of shown off, is the one that most people recognize and would say is, classic period X-Men cover. So 212 has gone up in value, and a lot of people love the cover. Again, do I have this cover? I do have one copy of this. But this is a book that does sell well. And again, when you go to conventions, these kind of X-Men books move so fast, especially in this kind of like, very fine near mint or near mint plus condition. You're going to really be able to move these kind of books pretty easily, because, these are the ones that a lot of people my age kind of grew up collecting, and they're turning into sort of more of the classic covers now. Next up was a book I picked up just because it was in so good shape. And, I don't have a lot from this series, so, and it's a really good cover art as well. It's Warlock number 2, in really, really nice condition. Really nice book. And so I went ahead and paid, maybe paid too much for it, but, I really wanted to have it because it's just one of those books I've never had, a book I've never really looked at because I wasn't a Warlock fan. I was an X-Men, Spider-Man kind of guy. But this book, I looked it up. It is worth, picking up. And again, in this kind of condition, this book does sell really well. Next up was, a book that isn't that great a shape, but it's, I picked it up just because it's the first appearance of Mr. Mind. It's, Shazam number 2, second series, I believe. It does have kind of a bend here in the middle. It's not the greatest shape, but, first appearances of some of these iconic characters that are part of Shazam's universe. Obviously, Shazam's got a movie. They're going to do more with the character. Black Adam's coming out. So, again, key first appearances in this kind of Shazam universe are still worth picking up even in low condition, because when you go to shows, again, people really like picking up these key books on the cheap, and this is like one of those books that, you might be able to get $20 out of at a show. So to me, it's worth picking up just to have that first appearance. Next up is just, a variant cover that I've looked at. I actually missed when it came around the first time. So I went ahead and picked it up. It was $6, which is, basically the cover price. So, and I believe this is Art Germ cover. So, just a fun, cover. The one I actually was going to buy, but I missed it the first time around. And last but not least, and I mentioned Robotech earlier. I did find, my wife found this, and she knows I'm a big Robotech fan. She found this kind of like, I won't say box set, but here is kind of a bundle of Robotech 2 through 16, and obviously missing number 1 because number 1 is worth some money. I have number 1 multiple copies. I think I have 2 or 3 copies of number 1, so I don't need number 1. But getting 2 through 16 in pretty good shape, all bagged and boarded, and nothing in here is worth a lot of money, but just to have good copies, because the copies I actually have of this series are ones, a lot of them from when I was a kid. I said, a lot of my comics didn't survive. Somehow the Robotech books, I think I had like 2 different binders or storage of books, and one got thrown away, which probably had, my, Amazing Spider-Mans and X-Men books, but the Robotech books survived. And so I still have some of my old books, but they're in really terrible shape. So it's kind of fun to pick them up. Obviously, about $1 to $1.50 a book, which is, it's great. And I love Comico. I always, a big sucker for Comico books when I see them. Mage, trying to think all the different Comico books back then. Grendel, Evangeline. There's just so many really cool books. Elementals are great. So again, when I see those books, I really love them because Comico was kind of my first non-standard publisher books I picked up, and a lot of it because of Robotech, because huge fan of the series. So I picked this up, and of course, when you read one of these books, in the middle of the book is kind of like a preview of all the other stories they have, and I'd read those previews. I'm like, oh man, I got to pick up Johnny Quest. Oh my god, I got to pick up, the next Mage book. Oh my god, I got to pick up this, and it really did sell me as a kid, and it worked really well. If that was their intention to make me want to buy those books, it worked very well. So there it is. That's my pickups. I feel like the store itself, has a lot of cool, a lot of cool stuff in it. Pricing wise, you can look through here and see, like, yeah, they look things up. They make sure they're priced competitively. So nothing was a huge steal. I think the biggest deals I got were probably these 207s, for $8 and $10. I think they're really good shape, and I think those were good prices. Some of these are either right at or above. So, wasn't great steals, but it was just fun to pick up really cool books and have fun, and that's what it's all about. And that's my review, and hopefully you guys want to check them out and let me know what you think. And if you want to know stores or comic books or stores I should visit in upstate New York, put it in the comments, and I'll go visit and I'll let you know what I think. I always want to check out some new stores and visit new places. So there it is, guys. That's my update and review, and I'll see you next time. Bye.